Yay, it says I am live here. Gonna give everybody a few minutes to pile in. Actually, I need to share this out to somewhere else, to my Facebook. Join live chat now. Hopefully you guys are doing well. It's a nice and sunny day here. Finally not snowing, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. It has been the most bizarre weather that we have ever had since I've been at Mount Shasta this year. I have really nothing to look at right now, or I would show you. All the snow's pretty much melted, but my driveway is like turned. It's not like paved, so I'm driving through like mud and dirt, and it has become such a muddy mess. It's ridiculous. Like what was actually revealed that they can use different frequencies to actually change the frequency of the earth. So, like they can make it the ground harder or softer based on frequencies. Join live chat now. So that would kind of account for like the mud floods and stuff that people are talking about. Sage, how's it going? And Kyle says, hey, I hate this weather. It's supposed to be spring, not winter. Yes. Kyle, I want to open this present while you're here because I know that you're at work and you might get pulled away. So let us. And plus, okay, so when I got this, it says mixed tiles on it. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And I have to resist the temptation to Google what it is. Like, okay. So Kyle, you're here, right? I just want to make sure that you don't miss my live reaction. Okay. Oh no, my other computer just turned off. I'm trying to steal some movies. Okay. Okay. Let's open it together. Oh! Oh my goodness! You actually got these framed. Oh! Me and Kyle have been using Midjourney AI to create AI art. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, this is so cool. Thank you so much. There's more. Don't wait. Oh, don't wait. But wait, there's more. That is so cool. And all these have little sticky things on the back to hang them up. Oh, this is so cool. Wow. And some chess queen with the blue throne on it. I love these. Oh my goodness. There's so many. I love lions, in case you guys haven't picked that up yet. Ooh, that is gorgeous. I actually don't really have any paintings at all on my wall right now, and I am going to be redoing my walls this summer, like doing any repairs in the walls and repainting and everything. So I definitely might consider putting these up behind my recording space. Oh, I love these. Oh my goodness. These are beautiful, Kyle. Thank you so much. There's still more. They keep coming. Okay. This is so cool. And this is the last one. These are amazing, Kyle. Thank you so much. I was definitely not expecting this. Oh. I'm really glad that I waited for the surprise. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's really cool to like see artwork that was not only generated for me, but actually like printed out and I can hang on my wall. That's so cool. Oh. Very cool. Hey, Plaid Panther, how's it going? That is really, really cool. Okay. Sage says, nice. Yes, very nice. Thank you again. I really appreciate that. I do like getting gifts and stuff in the mail, even if you just want to write a letter. People are free to send me whatever they want. So, yeah, thank you so much. I actually have recently been debating in one particular group called From Religion to Love, and they claim to be exposing the exposing the lies in the Bible about God. And anyways, the point of love is continuously coming up, and there are a lot of agendas that are being promoted under the guise of love. Like we have the LGBTQPR group using love as, a defense mechanism, and basically a lot of manipulative agendas to basically say, if you love your children, then you're going to affirm any behaviors, any whims that they might, come across, right? Kyle says you're very welcome. Thank you, thank you. What was I talking about? Real love, real versus a fake love. If you truly love someone, you're going to want what is best for them. And a parent's job is to make sure that their children are guided through any confusion, any issues that they come across. Like it's a parent's job to lead and guide them, not to let them lead their children. And yeah, that's one of the main things. Like parents are under attack to accept all of these things, and they're confused themselves, and then their children are confused because of multiple reasons, right? As soon as mom is born, well, what's the state of her womb when she consumes the child, right? Most likely she's been consuming poison her whole life, and her womb is not clear and holy. So starting off, the baby's really not that great. What mother eats, what she injects, if she gets ultrasounds, all of these things are going to have an effect on the baby's development. I am talking about the baby in her womb. I don't use the F word, that word that they call fetus. Like, it is a disgusting word to me. I've always found it disgusting. It emotionally detaches you from the fact that there is a baby growing inside of you, and that's exactly what they want, right? They want women to see this baby growing inside of them as a parasite, as a clump of cells, that it's going to ruin their lives and prevent them from climbing the corporate ladder. And the whole, what's popping into my mind is someone brought up the fact yesterday that they basically label a woman staying at home and being a mother as a patriarchal view of women. Is like you would be labeled as submitting to the patriarchy if you stay at home and raise children. Ironically, that's an inversion. It would be a matriarchal thing for you to do, to be a mother, not to leave the house and try to climb the corporate ladder like the patriarchal. Like, I don't support division between these two, but there is a division that we should address. Like the world's main religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, these are patriarchal based religions now, where they used to not be. Like original Christians, the Hebrews, whatever you want to call them, they had mother and father in balance. And over time, these two have been separated. So we have patriarchy only religions, and they have been painted in one way. And then we have matriarchy based religions, which usually, like witches fall under that. And they've obviously been demonized, and there's been feuds that have been fueled by Satanists between these two to separate them, to ultimately separate us, right? Separate, like, I grew up in Christianity where there is no heavenly, well, there's no earthly mother, there's no, they don't acknowledge the feminine divine at all. So it's like growing up without a mother. Whereas other people are in the opposite side, and they are usually just turned off by the church, right? Or by the Bible itself, or these texts of humans, not actually against God himself, because they don't even know God. They're judging God based off of these books, based off of these people who claim that they are doing his will, like the pedophile priests, like those that say that they're Jews but lie. All of these clowns that are claiming that they are doing things in God's name are giving him a bad name. So it's understandable that that some people are demonizing him. But in this one specific group that I just got kicked out of, they are like, it's every post is anti-Yah, and they will not listen to any reason about, the text being corrupted to demonize him at all. So, hi, David D. How's it going? Robert, how are you? David says, thanks for sharing and tagging everyone in the group. Don't worry about the haters. Oh, yes. At Sage. Okay, I was going to say, I'm not really sure what you're talking about because I did tag everyone, but Sage says, me committing a hate crime at everyone. That's funny, but there are some people in here that would not like us to talk about hate crimes. Kyle said feminism destroyed the family unit. Well, I definitely am anti-feminism, and I do think that it is destroying, but I think that both are also, serving to divide us, in that, as history goes, as the story goes, right, they used like family units and women being mothers in the home. In history, they've, like, the powers that be are in control of everything, right? So it's like they're the ones that are starting these feminist movements and all this stuff. But my whole point is, like, they may not have given women, like, the right to vote, right? So they make it more oppressive in these situations, so that it will explode over and cause division between us, when it doesn't need to be that way at all, right? Like, males and females are complementary, like, opposites that we're supposed to, your strengths as a man complement my weaknesses as a woman, and the opposite. There needs to be acknowledgement that the sexes are created differently, and if that makes me sexist, then I guess that's okay. I am not misandrous or anti-male in that. We are all in God's household, and God made males and females to be together to not just procreate our species, but to be in relationships and form not just physical connections, but a bond, like, on a soul level, and, like, truly connect with the soul and grow with them, and build a family with them, and, like, grow old and eventually die together. Like, that is what our Creator wants for us. And all of these agendas are out to divide that. And like Kyle said, feminism destroying the family unit, this whole idea that women want to go out and, do the things that men do and climb the corporate ladder. That's a really weird voice coming from this person. Okay. It's taking the women out of the home so that the children can go and then be groomed by who knows who. And the curriculum has gotten more and more towards Satanism, every step of the way. Like it's a constant march towards their ultimate goal, which is, well, their heaven on earth, their new world order. Their golden age would be basically a free for all where inverts are just accepted, and more importantly, pedophiles are accepted. And if you don't let them sodomize your children, you are a hateful bigot. And, the CPS can come and take the children from you and give them to them. Like, that's their dream world. That's what we're fighting against. And every step of the way, they've been slowly working towards that. They've been desensitizing humans. Like 10 years ago, do you think that even a whole handful of humans are going to be standing for, you know, degeneracy and the agendas that they're promoting today? Like, they've had to slowly desensitize us over time to get us to this point. Humans are naturally, we have a natural innocence to us, and these agendas are absolutely corrupt and demonic. They have to be we have to be fluoridated. We have to be under other different types of attack. And my hair's driving me nuts. You know, Fluoride isn't the only. There's mercury, which has made male birds gay. There's atrazine that has made male frogs lay eggs. There are, chemicals in plastics and society's programming and injections and chemtrails. Like, it's one weapon after another being used against us. And more important now than ever to be aware of these, and also especially for parents to have a good head on their shoulders and understand what real love is. Real love is sometimes having to make tough decisions. I'm not saying that you cut your child off if they come to you and they're confused. I say you help them through the confusion. You don't sit there and say, yes, Johnny, okay, I'll just call you Janie from now on. Like, no, you do not confirm the confusion. As a good parent, you stand against it. You say, I understand that you are feeling confused. Sometimes I feel a way that isn't aligned with truth as well. Like, you can maybe feel like you're the opposite sex, but feelings aren't always based on truth, okay? Especially when there are demons. There's a demon on one shoulder and an angel on the other, and there's demons whispering in your ear that you're the opposite sex. So a parent's role is really to take that stand and lead their child through that and help them, not to confirm and affirm the behavior. And that's not just with inversion, that's with any type of confused behavior that your children find themselves under. These people are being tricked to being tricked into thinking, like I'm saying, that love, I guess, they actually have this fairy tale idea of who God is. And I guess when I was in mainstream Christianity, I also had this unrealistic expectation of God to be perfect. And no soul is perfect. It's like not right for me to hold him to a standard that no soul can be held to. And there are many allegations against Yah, especially like in the group that I am in. I'll just mention two of the specific allegations. One was the flood. Okay, they call Yah evil because he flooded the earth. Well, if you read other texts, it talks about these hybrids, the jinn who mated with humans and made giants, and there are allegations that Noah was the only one left with pure DNA. Like, all the rest of creation had become corrupt and hybridized. And there were these giants that were running around terrorizing humans and like ripping them to shreds and eating them. Like, what was happening under the dome had gotten way out of hand, and Satan's seed had literally taken over. So to call him evil for taking evil entities out, either you don't know the situation or you're the one that's evil and you're defending them. The second, the second thing, I don't actually want to make this a huge defending of Yah, but the second allegation is that Yah is evil because of when the 10 plagues happened. The last one was the killing of the firstborn. If you look into the context of the story, the Hebrews were mercilessly enslaved by the Egyptians. Okay, so the Egyptians are the bad guys in this situation. And I'm not sure if you've seen any videos, but I have pictures of videos in my head from childhood because I grew up in Christianity. So I have videos of these just Egyptians just, whipping the whips at these slaves and just being awful to them. That's not even the most awful thing. The most awful thing is the story where the Pharaoh's people, I believe the story goes that they were foretold of Moses basically, and Pharaoh had his people, the Egyptians, go into the houses of the Hebrews and take any boy babies and feed them to crocodiles. And then later, because they wouldn't let these slaves who they fed their babies to crocodiles, they wouldn't let the slaves go, their firstborn children get killed, which might not even be babies. It's just like people are trying to judge Yah and say that he's evil without even taking into consideration the context. For me, if you are feeding babies to crocodiles and you get wiped out, I am not going to complain. I'm not going to call whoever passes you on evil because you are feeding babies to crocodiles. Like, how is God evil because of this? It's like the thing is, the people in this group from A Religion to Love know full well what they are doing. They are actually inverted Satanists, and they are bashing Yah to turn people away from him. They know full well the real context of the story. They know full well that he doesn't do the whole go in and rape virgins. That's a lie. God never promotes, like, oh, if you go and bomb this town, you can go and have virgins, or go in and kill all the people and take their women and children. Like, that is not God. Like I was saying before, he only promotes a one woman and one man together, actually like sacred sex, bonding at a soul level. Okay, so the whole idea that God says to go and rape and pillage, like, that's a lie. Sorry, I'm getting worked up, but okay, take a deep breath and calm. This really gets me worked up because these people are deliberately doing this on purpose, and I know that they are going to lead people astray, and they're doing it under this guise of love. They're all about love. It's like, no, you're not. Chris, how's it going? Inanna, have you read the Celestine Prophecy series? I have not. I don't know if that's how you even say it. David D says that God created male and female to bond at a soul level and build a family, and Satan's agenda is always anti-family. Exactly. Loving parents help their children through demonic confusion. Kyle says we're fighting against Satanism. Absolutely. Strawman, how's it going? Hi from the UK. David says no entity is perfect, not even God, but much of the allegations against him need to be seen in perspective. Yes. And also on that, it's like, let's actually look at God's creation, which is one of the points I'll go into more depth, and you'll hear me say before, but it's like, when left alone, there are perfect ecosystems, like the flat earth. I get a smile because I absolutely love the concept of flat earth, especially when I think of the chess concepts actually being integrated in, like the four rooks, the four towers on the four corners. That gets me so excited. There's such perfection in his design. There is order. There's love in the way that Mother Earth actually takes care of us. Obviously, when we look at nature today, it's like all of these storms and stuff, but people don't take into consideration the weather modification and all of the evil things that we're doing, like drilling for oil, like hurting the mother, doing all these other harmful things cause problems. But when she is left alone, nature is perfect. This is a perfect designed terrarium for us to live and love and explore in, and it's beautiful. The body that you are in is a self-healing machine. It wants to improve, it wants to get better. When you get sick, when you get cut, when you get hurt, your body wants to heal itself. Like, that tells me something fundamental about our creator, is that that is what his desire is, for things to get better, to return to a perfect state. And that, I mean, how are you going to call them evil? If you want to call him evil, get out of his world. It's so annoying that you clowns waste oxygen being in his world, and you sit here and talk smack. But I understand, because it leads me into my next point. You are locked out of heaven. So reminds me of that Bruno Mars song. Like, I just have had that ringing in the back. You know, it's actually really funny. I tried to use Midjourney AI to give me art that depicts being locked out of heaven, and every single door was open. They would not give me the art. Like, I know that people will think that I'm crazy for it, but it's just like the satanic clowns that control this stuff won't give me what I want, because they know I'm going to come in and make the point that the inverts are so mad at Yah because they will not let him, he will not let them into heaven. I actually want to pull this up, because this is one of the allegations that was made from the admin of this satanic Yah hating group, From Religion to Love. I actually posted their comments on my page, but they are saying that the God they serve has no gates, no bars, or doors. He is freedom. He is love. Well, first of all, who hasn't heard of the pearly gates of heaven? So, I mean, saying God doesn't have gates is kind of an like, what do you think heaven is in your mind completely different than everybody else? Because at least there's pearly gates, right? But anyways, I think this is kind of why I got kicked out of the group, other than the fact that me and Nicole were being really aggressive with our defense of Yah. But I said, I think the God many people serve in this group is Satan. Yes, he has no doors and is all about do what thou will, and he loves his minions. These people are promoting the idea that God is all love, he has no doors. Like, does it ring true to you that any soul is allowed in heaven, in God's in his space? Like, that's where his throne is, that's where his house is. You think just anyone is allowed in, especially these clowns that spend their time on earth spitting in his face, not just by their words, by typing online that Yah is Satan, but by actually living in a way that disgraces him. And they're doing it deliberately. So if you think that Yah just lets everyone in heaven, that's just not realistic. Would you let just anyone in your house? Or are you holding him to different standards that you wouldn't even hold yourself to? Because I know for sure my worst enemy is not coming into my house. If you spend your time lying about me online and spreading a bunch of nonsense and just being rude to me, you're not coming into my house. Are you kidding me? Like, that's ridiculous to even think that heaven wouldn't have any rules. Essentially, it's like, if heaven didn't have rules, then the demons wouldn't be here on earth, they would be in heaven. You'd probably have drag monsters trying to give God a lap dance. Like, these clowns have to be kept out, or else they will turn heaven into the I don't want to swear, into the circus that we have here, where they are sodomizing children and acting like absolute clowns. Okay. Anyways, that's pretty much the topics that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to sit here and think if there's any other points that I wanted to make, because, yeah, I do not agree with the idea that God is unconditional love. Like, he doesn't love evil. And one of the points I wanted to make is that while heaven is God's house. So obviously he is allowed to say if someone's not allowed in or not. But as far as earth goes, there are souls that are literal, like, enemies of God that are allowed into this world. He doesn't completely control what souls come in. And what I mean by that is, there are some souls that are so dark that if they come in, they will do like even worse and more evil things that we have already seen. So both Sophia and Yah do keep, there's a level of darkness that's a cutoff, right? No evil past this. But there are souls, like I said, that do hate Yah, that are allowed in. Like he doesn't say, "Oh no, you don't like me, so you're not allowed in." Like he might say that about heaven, but not about earth itself. So we have a situation where all of these inverts that are Yah haters are sitting here bashing Yah, and ultimately they are upset that they don't have his favor. And I mean, you're living a life that goes against his will. You are corrupting his creation and making his creation look like a clown to the spiritual world. It's embarrassing him. So, how do you expect that he's just going to have loving, open arms? Just especially if this is happening time and time again. Like, this isn't our first time going through this. There are cycles. There's cyclical nature to our reality, and there's nothing new under the sun, right? And there are souls that continue to reincarnate and come in here time and time again in the anti-Yah category. So it's like this is a hypothetical situation. Like you have incarnated 77 times, and every time you go in there and you spit in Yah's face and you turn people against him, like how long do you think Yah is just gonna stand there with his arms open and say, it's okay, I forgive you, I love you anyway? It's just like, I just don't hold anybody to unrealistic expectations, and hopefully you don't either. Like, would you hold yourself to that standard? How many times are you going to let someone stab you in the back before you close your arms and you're like, no, we're done with that? Like, how stupid are you? You're just going to keep getting walked all over? Like, there's a difference between loving people. Like, you can love someone from a distance. You don't have to keep letting them in if they are hurting you, if they are bringing that kind of negativity against you in your life. Like, they don't truly love you. That's not love. So yeah, watch out for all of the fake versions of love. What just popped into my head was the whole concept of terrorists that die in service of Allah. They try to say that you will go and be with 72 virgins in paradise or whatever. I actually do I support the idea of Valhalla, where there's, paradise for those souls that are actually worthy enough to die in battle, but definitely not about the 72 virgins thing and sexual degeneracy. Like, do souls even have sex outside of this realm? Like, one of the reasons that we come here is for sexual pleasures, for eating foods, for having babies. Ooh, yay. Rebecca says it's denial. Righteousness and justice still exist. Absolutely. And if there isn't righteousness and judgment, or injustice, is that like a God that you would want to serve? I wouldn't. I don't know. I want to have a God with morals, with, that seeks to do good, that wants good for us, right? Like the people that are worshiping Satan, you really think that God, little g God, has your best interest at heart? The clown is literally turning humans into clowns and corrupting their souls, and humans are silly enough to say that they worship him. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I don't know. I actually did know one person who kind of labeled themselves as a Satanist, but I think that they were a Satanist in that they were mainstream Satanism is kind of like the Church of Satan, where Satan doesn't exist and he represents the basically the opposite of God, the freeing of man's mind and all this nonsense. Um, but a lot of it, again, is just against the church, right? These people grow up in church, they have a horrible experience for whatever reason, and then they are anti God and they choose the side of Satan. And sometimes it's just to ruffle feathers. Like, they don't even believe Satan is real. They're just wearing shirts that have like upside down pentagrams with, the goat head in it. And then on the back of the hoodie, I think it said like 666 unholy one. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, you can't actually believe that. Like, you can't actually be into this stuff. I mean, obviously people can, but this specific person was like, you can't actually, but anyways, it's really interesting to see how many people do turn, atheist or against God because of religion. And like, you ask them why they're against it, and they point to the Bible, and it's like, okay, well, do you even believe that the Bible is the infallible word of God? No, you don't. Well, then why are you judging him based off of it? If you this isn't a Bible, but if you think that this book is only the words of humans wrote it, no inspiration whatsoever, then why are you judging God based off of that? That just doesn't make any sense to me. So I actually brought a whole library of books with me today. So I plan at some point to like assemble my own type of Bible, and these books will be what they are primarily based off of. So, yeah. Abdullah A, hey, how's it going? It has been a long time. Hi, Laura, how are you? Hopefully, you guys are doing well. I have my other computer here today because I'm trying to download Avatar: The Way of the Water while I'm here. I was just telling Laura about the Avatar movie with The Way of the Water. And the first one, I really didn't. I don't know if this is even one or if it's two or three or how many movies there are, because I never connected with an Avatar movie before this. But they actually have kids in the movie. And so obviously, my maternal instincts whenever there's kids, and especially like kids in a war type situation and what the parents have to do, it's like I'm on the edge of my seat. You remind of Erica. Who is Erica? Abdullah A, I'm not sure who that is. But yes, it has been a while. Hopefully you have been doing well. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on here, but I will stay on for just a little while longer in case anybody has anything else to say, because I'm downloading some things. Okay. There's some very interesting characters in here today. The second Avatar movie was much better due to the families and kids part. Okay. Well, it's good to know that was the second one and that I haven't been completely missed out on. I didn't really even need to know much from the first movie to get it. I guess I can address the fact that someone just recently posted this into one of the transvestigation groups. They are using my picture where I clearly have female flaring hips right there. Like, that's why I actually put this as my banner picture. And they're trying to accuse me of what they are guilty of, which is being inverted. It's hilarious. This is the same. They put female flaring hips right in your face and then try to tell you it's not. It's just the same as me trying to tell you that this tea bag right here, I mean, you can verify this is a tea bag, right? That would be like me trying to convince you that this is a coffee pod or like a packet of water. Like, it's so manipulative and deceptive. So, yeah, I definitely wanted people to understand that this is going on and that see the actual tactics that they're doing right in front of your eyes. I have been more than open about what I am. I've shown you my flaring hips so many times, and I do it right now. I'm being looked at by people really weirdly. So, I'm sorry. I'll just tell you. Kyle says, under the sun is such an interesting phrase. You can't be under the sun in the heliocentric model. Get flat smacked. I can't even say that word. Flat smacked. Yes, that's really cute. It's funny how many times you hear these phrases growing up and it never really registers, and people still don't even register it. So, Abdul A says the Avatar movies are regurgitated as movies such as Lion King. What I mean, I know that they. What's the original? Is my question. I don't know. I've never looked into it personally. I'm not really dish earth. No. David says you're clearly a female with flaring hips. There's no question they are promoting confusion. Exactly. Sage said, haha, actually tasty coffee. Yeah, I'm not really too big of a fan of this. That's why I got it on the side. I brought my own tea, and that's what is here. I think they charged me like $4.30 for a cup of tea, and I'm not even drinking their tea. Um, yes, David, and with their partner, so it's even more creepy and weird and awkward. Okay. David says, reality itself is a form of chess where light and dark aspects of our soul battle for dominance. I do want to come back to that, but Sage, I did want to mention that coffee is disgusting. I don't know if anybody here drinks it, but I can't do coffee without like sugar and like oat milk and making it really, really sweet. So, because of the promise that I made with Sage to cut back on my sugar, I'm not even drinking. Well, I usually don't drink coffee anyways. I'll only have like a latte every now and then. But the fact that coffee tastes so bad by itself, there should be a sign for us to not drink it. Like, it's kind of like a general rule of thumb that if it doesn't taste good how it's prepared on Earth, you probably shouldn't drink it. But yeah. Oh, David drinks black coffee. That's gross. Black coffee smells good, but it's not. I don't like bitter things. Laura, I'm kind of surprised if you don't like black coffee since you like black chocolate. Oh, I figured out how to make coffee finally without any sugar or creamer. How do you do it? Is it a different roasting technique or is it something else? Abdullah says the very same concepts repeat in movies such as Lion King, Avatar, and Wakanda. Okay, I definitely understand what you mean with that. I didn't know if you meant that there was actually a movie that came out before, because I know, what is it? There's a video that shows the Jungle Book next to something else, and both characters are doing the same exact dance. Like they literally just copy and pasted the animation and put a different character on it. So I know that they've done like remakes of videos and it's just a copy of everything, right? There's no new creative content coming out. It's always the same storyline. What is the cliche about Hallmark movies? Like even my family, like, oh yeah, here we go again. The girl and the boy break up, and then she goes home and finds an old love, blah blah blah. Like it's always the same repeated stuff. And still, how many humans will? I mean, I myself am guilty. Like during the holiday season, I'm like, let's just indulge in the holiday movies, and I can get caught up in little Hallmark movies. I'm a hopeless romantic. Like I love love. I want love, and like they do well. I was gonna say they do a good job of portraying love, but they really don't, because they give us really unrealistic expectations of the opposite sex, and it can lead to a lot of issues later down the road, like programming us all to be looking for Prince Charmings, and while at the same time, programming boys to not be Prince Charmings. And I'm not going to say that it's one-sided, right? Like, I mean, girls aren't Disney princesses either. We have definitely come very far from what we should be as males and females in both categories. Like, neither sex is blameless, and we can both do things to be better versions of ourselves rather than allowing. There's so many agendas to, like, I mean, I'm coming from a female perspective, so obviously like there's so many agendas to get us to hate men and see men as just only focused on sex and just like really negative things. And I know that for you males, like the only person that really pops into my mind is Andrew Tate, because I'm not a guy, so I don't I don't fall under the same programming as you, but I know there's a lot of programming on your side as well to be anti-females, and men go their own way. So it's like agendas to turn us against each other, and I'm really against those. Andrew Tate loves chess. Are they any good? I am not sure. That's funny. Oh, Abdul A says Andrew Tate loves chess. Okay, so David is repeating. I see what's happening. I wanted to touch back with David saying reality is a form of chess where light and dark aspects of our soul battle for dominance. So it's kind of interesting because there is, the inner battle that we have with our own self. Like kind of one of the things is like an Indian proverb about like the light and dark wolf that's inside, and you can feed whatever one, and that one, is going to essentially get bigger. And it's the same concept of we're our own worst enemy. But there is also an outer battle that's going on as well between light and dark that isn't, there is an enemy of humanity. So people want to focus on one or the other when it's a complex battle, if you know what I mean. A lot of times our own demons are what defeat us rather than our enemy. Like our enemy will make it hard, but then we basically will give up ourselves. We'll not have the will. We will not have the will to press forward and fight back against our own laziness or whatever issues that we have, right? And that makes it funnier for them when the enemy's like, you were literally 2 feet away from your goal and you're the one that stopped yourself. Like, we didn't even have to do anything. Or it says, I use Swerve, yay, and that nut pod creamer. Okay, that's awesome. No sugar or a creamer. Which one of the creamers did you like? Because you picked out a few different kinds, didn't you? I know I was really surprised. So we went to Sprouts and they had like vegan 0 carb creamer, 0 sugar, 0 carb sugar. Like, wow, that is, or 0 carb, 0 sugar creamer. I'm not even sure what I was saying at this point, but I was really, really amazed that they had that. There's so many different things now. Laura says there's a reason we love those silly romantic movies. Exactly. We all really, want love at the end of the day, and getting away from all of these separating agendas where we hate each other by becoming the best versions of ourselves, right? Like, we can be the light in the darkness. When a guy looks out and sees only darkness of a crowd of girls, like, they're being told to paint women in a negative light. Like, you can be the light that stands out and says, no, don't give up hope on girls. Like, there are some of us out here that aren't like this. And the same goes for you men. Like, we are being constantly bombarded with agendas that make us, like, they want us to hate you guys. There's demons, whispering on our shoulders. Like I said, it's like they only care about sex, blah, 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 like just very negative things. And you have the chance to be that light in the darkness for us. And I'm saying, please do, because a world that this, like, I'm about gonna get teary-eyed. Like, if this continues and it's just like the end result is just really bad, and I don't want to go there. So let's not. Like, let's all become better and give each other hope by being lights to each other in the darkness. Abdul A says, you remind me of Barbara. Who is Barbara and who is Erica? Like, I'm not sure who these people are. Sorry, I'm like crying over here. Okay. Abdul A says white coffee. Does that mean that you just put so much vegan milk in it that it's white? I don't know what white coffee is. Abdul A says pretty much all the anime series have a similar plot. Well, it's new to me then because I don't watch anime. So, David D says, I'm a hopeless romantic too. It's kind of evident with your poems and stuff. I do appreciate it. Abdul A says also, oh, you remind me of Barbara again. I don't know who Barbara is. David says both sexes have been corrupted, but we can do better. Absolutely. Abdul A says Andrew Tate is an anti-female. Well, Andrew Tate can't be fully anti-female because it is a female. But they do promote anti-female agendas. Laura says, totally agree. As a woman, we're supposed to feel that men are like a different species entirely. Exactly. And the whole, it's just, I don't know, there's so many different agendas, like mansplaining and like, I don't know, just it's overwhelming to see how hard these agendas are going to separate us from each other. Abdullah A says, inside us there are two wolves. Exactly. Indian as in the country or North American ones? North American. I agree with Laura, who says, I want to say it comes from Cherokee. Yes. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I'm talking about North American Indians. David says that Satan's agenda is to turn sexes against each other, hate each other. We must see past it to get to a better future. Exactly. I don't want my future children growing up in a world where, I mean, let's just follow this. If every female hates males and every male hates females, okay, so we're at like a middle school party where boys are on one side and girls are on the other, okay. First of all, how's our species going to go further? Obviously they're going to say, oh, artificial insemination, all stuff. Like, you really want all of the babies on earth to be like from these unnatural situations in unnatural, like, it's just so not, it's so against nature to go to the extent that they want us to. And so yeah, seeing the end result in the goal is helpful to be able to stop it, because other people don't, and they are just marching full speed ahead with their, like, I'm disgusted myself in the feminist side where they're like talking about being prideful about bleeding. Like, I think that bleeding is disgusting. I don't want to bleed. I actually want to do whatever I can to stop bleeding. And going raw vegan is one of the ways to do that. It's like, you don't have to bleed to be healthy. You don't have to, it's like hemorrhaging from anything is not good. And they've convinced us that it is. But my point is that they're really, the whole concept of someone going and saying they love to bleed, like, they're making us look disgusting, and that turns men off. Like, just so you guys know, I'm disgusted by it too. Not all women are like this. So I'm gonna get off this preaching about weird things now. I have more people sitting beside me. Kyle says, I hate Andrew Tate. I'm glad to hear that. David says, turkey based their children. Yeah. And for the other side, what would the men do? Like, I mean, if you hate women, you aren't going to use a surrogate, right? You'd have to use one of the, like, the pods surrogates. And then again, if you hate men, how are you going to use their sperm? Like, this doesn't even make any sense to me. So it's just a very bizarre situation. Laura said, I like the French vanilla one. Ooh, yum. That sounds really good. Abdullah says the future is family, not female. Yes, I agree with the family thing. Barbara Palvin, I'm not sure who that is, and I'm not sure who Erica Costello is either. Hopefully they're not inverts. Okay. Neither do I watch anime. The way two similar plots don't interest me. Gotcha. Do I believe in mansplaining? Well, I think that let's see what the definition is. The explanation of something by a man, typically to a woman, in a manner regarded as condescending or patronizing. I probably wouldn't use the word mansplaining. I would probably just say you're being condescending and patronizing, and not like bring their sex into it. Like, it doesn't matter what sex you are if you're like, yeah, I don't know. So I wouldn't use that word personally. It seems like it's just anti-male. Not even every male, like, it's basically saying that all men are like that when they're not. So Abdullah says, does our species need to go forward, though? Well, our species needs to go forward, but it needs to be changed before it goes forward, because our species is literally a clown show right now. And things need to change before it can go on properly, because the way that we're headed is like not a humanity that our creator can be proud of, and I'm not okay with that. So I think that it all essentially comes down to programming. I know that we're told to see that word as evil, but like you can either have good programming or bad programming. Like programming is just programming, and it is what it is. Like we're all programmed. Like you can be programmed to be a good person, to be compassionate, to be loving or whatever, or you can be programmed to be the opposite, right? If humans are programmed properly, like a baby comes out perfect. There's nothing wrong with the baby. Well, unless the mother does something during the pregnancy to cause issues. Babies essentially start off perfectly, and they don't have all of these issues that the world comes with. These are learned behaviors, and if they're programmed from the beginning to be good, then they can be good. So Laura says anyone can be condescending, even women. Gasp. Exactly. Do we have women splaining? Is that a thing? Yeah, no. Abdullah says there are asexual people. Let's look up what asexual means. Not involved in sexual activity, feelings, or associations. Non-sexual. Okay. I would be curious why they are. Femsplaining, Sage says. That's funny. Abdul, I'm not really sure what you're saying that in response to them being asexual, because, yeah, I'd be curious to know what their story is and how they became that way, because I don't believe that is how people naturally are. I think that there's a number of factors, including different chemicals, right, to lower the libido and all these other different things. They might be turned off by what they see in the world. Like they don't like the hookup culture. I'm in the same boat. And they just basically say, I don't want any of that. Like, I am definitely not there, but I can understand the line of thinking in that. David says, our species is a clown show right now, but we are in the process of changing direction and purifying. Yes, and shout out to everyone who is doing the 3-day group of purification with me. I'm not actually doing a fast. I'm about to eat some apples today when I go home, but I have been only strictly fruit. Yesterday I had some grapes and some mandarins, but I am still purifying. It's definitely better than eating the junk that I'm used to. But I am really proud of you guys for joining me, and these group purifications. Like, it doesn't matter if you can't, dry fast. You can join in whatever way you want, even if it may be like intermittent fasting, where you might not eat for like 16 hours in the day, like your eating window is very short. It might be like you're raw vegan or fruitarian. It might be that you only do juices, or it might be more extreme with dry fasting, which even I think that dry fasting is extreme, and I lead the dry fasting community. So yeah. Abdullah says a Catholic in London was arrested for praying in front of an abortion center. Interesting. I wonder what the actual story is behind that, because if someone's just standing outside praying, I'm not thinking that they would, like, well, I don't actually know the laws in London, but here you can stand outside and pray. If you start hassling people and like basically trying to, cause problems for their customers, people that are going to sacrifice their children, then that's when they could come, in America and arrest you, or if you're on their actual property. Kyle says that truth begets controversy amongst the weak-minded. It's not my fault. Agreed. And he's talking about the controversy that happened with the Reading Chess Club end-of-year tournament, which some awkward situation still going on there, because the person that threatened to sue the president is still going to chess club meetings and promoting chess club meetings in the chess club while never having cleared the air with the president. It's just really, really awkward. I don't know. It's just really bizarre. But yeah, I don't know. I have heard that some people have left because of this entity, and yeah, so Kyle says, I've been eating only honeydew. That sounds so good. David D says, fruitarian is very healing. I agree. I actually think, as kind of being convicted, which I'm not ready to make the switch yet. But one of the, I don't even know if it's in this book. One of the books, I don't know. It was basically talking about how the idea portrayed is that we're supposed to basically only eat one thing at a time. And when you mix foods together, then the phrase that they were actually saying was that it actually the mixture of foods, can cause disruption, disharmony, and a war essentially inside of you. It's saying that when you eat all of these compilation foods, you're actually causing issues inside of you, which makes sense. I mean, I think that when you are just putting in grape, your body, that's not confusing at all. There's no, breakdown and separation of what is what. And, it's just, that's really how we're supposed to be eating. So I was kind of feeling convicted about that. And I do want to move more towards that. But it's really, really hard. So I don't know. What do we say? Abdullah A says estrogenation is a great topic to read about. Yes, there's definitely an agenda to feminize men. And hey, Dimitri, how's it going? Abdullah A says next week Ramadan's starting, so I'll be fasting about 14 hours. That's awesome. Presumably you do it the whole month then if you are observing the holiday. David D says at Kyle's Andrew Tate drama is ongoing. Months later, we are dealing with the fallout. Yep. Expose Antarctica, how's it going? Why don't you play chess online and stream? Well, I can actually only stream when I'm in public, and I only came here to do this stream. So I would basically have to come into town on a special trip. So I'll think about that. But I usually am a homebody. I don't normally leave home unless I have to. And it really sucks because my internet, I even recently got an upgrade to my service and I'm still having issues with, I can't stream, so it's really irritating. Abdullah A says, have you been called a pick-me? No, I'm not even sure what that means. Abdullah says, will you play chess against Andrew Tate? I am not really in the habit of playing chess against demons. I think that Andrew Tate is an invert, and I don't want to play with them at all. I am actually quite disgusted by their message and the fact that they are turning men against women. Why would I even give them the pleasure of being in my presence? Ugh. Butter and potatoes have all what's needed for humans. Well, if you mean vegan butter, then I can get on board with that. But if you mean butter that's made with cow's tit secretions, I cannot agree. Because cow's tit secretions are made for baby cows, and humans aren't baby cows. David says, grape diet, very purifying, but tonight I'm going to eat some low-carb, creamy, cheesy pasta with keto bread, garlic bread, and avocado salad. Oh man, that sounds really tasty. Send me some. Kyle says that my mom started a slow cooker crock pot of veggies last night. Yum. So just put a bunch of veggies in there, like potatoes and carrots and stuff, like a stew, or that sounds really good. I don't actually have a slow cooker crock pot, but I'm kind of trying to get away from cooked foods anyways. When I have a kid, I don't want to be tarnishing their palate, their body with these foods. And another thing that they were saying, and not only do the mixed foods that cause issues inside, but they were also talking about how cooked foods or even frozen foods cause issues as well. Like they heat your insides, they freeze, and it kind of makes sense. The way that we're actually intended to eat is basically be like frolicking around in a garden, and you pick the apple and you eat it. There's no processing, there's no freezing, there's no anything done with it, and the further away that we get from what our creator intended for us, the worse things get. Like as soon as you start cooking anything, if you look at Curlian photography, everything had, like if you take a raw apple, it'll have life force energy just beaming off of it. But then if you start to cook that apple, then that life force energy actually diminishes, and you can see it in this photography, Curlian, K-I-R, let me just, Curlian photography. Not with the T at the end. Sorry about that. David says at midnight as soon as Purification 3-day ends. Awesome. Well, I'm really thankful for you guys that are doing the Purification with me. And it looks like I had like a really significant turnout on the actual event. So that was pretty exciting. Abdul A says the elites threw the Tate brothers in jail. Is that the same type of way that isn't it like Julian Assange or whatever there is supposedly in jail as well? Yeah, I don't. When they throw these famous people in jail, like I don't believe anything that they say. They don't get in trouble. Like, yeah. But Andrew Tate's message had refined over time. I wouldn't know. Jesus fed bread and fish to his devotees, not the Jesus that I follow. So, in this handy-dandy book, we actually do have a story of him feeding. It's actually kind of interesting that you bring this up because last night I was trying to generate some art, which, I'll show you guys my art first. Okay. I'm going to post this to my Facebook page, the story of Jesus who was feeding. Well, I have two different things actually. I have this picture of him feeding grapes and bread, which is really cool. And oh, how Jesus hugging a cow. Isn't that so cute? Oh, I love it. Okay. Anyways, in the Essene Gospels, the Christ actually feeds multitudes on two different occasions. The one occasion is here. I'm not sure if this is the first or the second. So the first time that he feeds the multitude is feeding of 5,000 with 6 loaves and 7 clusters of grapes. So it would have been a giant communion, like really, really cool. I love that. And plus, grapes and bread absolutely sounds like an amazing, refreshing treat. Fish. I never even ate fish as an animal eater. Like, fish is disgusting to me. It swims in its own toilet. Like, how are you even eating that stuff? It's disgusting. So, yeah, I don't follow a Christ that would eat fish. And then in the second one, it says that Christ feeds 1,000 with 5 melons. So, Kyle, you'd probably like that story. But, yeah. the multitudes, and they were hungry and faint by reason of the heat of the day. Then there passed by that way a woman on a camel laden with melons and other fruit. He lifted up his voice and cried, O ye that thirst, seek ye the living water which cometh from heaven. And he took of the fruit 5 melons and divided them amongst the people, and they ate, and their thirst was quenched. And he said unto them, If God maketh the sun to rise, and the water to fill out these fruits of the earth, shall not the same be the sun of your souls, and fill you with the water of life? Seek ye the truth, and let your souls be satisfied. I love these teachings of Christ. Like, they are so changing. Kyle said, yeah, it's like cabbage, carrots, and potatoes. Okay, interesting. I was going to say, I don't really know the last time that I ate cabbage. I think I accidentally bought it one time. I was in a rush to get some lettuce, and it was definitely not lettuce. I'm like, how does that mistake even happen? But they were like right beside each other, and I really was not paying enough attention, obviously. David T says, Kirlian photography reveals the astral energy inside of a living entity, whether a human showing the soul or an apple showing the life force energy. Absolutely. And along that same line, like all of the animals people eat do have souls. Anything with a pineal gland has a soul, but an apple doesn't actually have its own soul. These plants that don't have a soul are actually being empowered by the creator's soul. So in them is a mix between like the physical of the mother and the spiritual of the father in, the apple. And when you pick that apple, you are consuming that life force energy. It's like, it's not evil at all because it's what God gave us to eat. It's, eating of him, eating of Sophia. It's not like a sick cannibalistic thing. Abdul A says Abraham sacrificed a lamb, though, and Abel sacrificed a lamb. I don't believe the story of Abraham sacrificing a lamb. I don't believe all of the stories in the Bible because they have been corrupted. If you look on my Facebook page, I just posted a whole long list of verses that have God's prophets actually saying that he wants compassion, not sacrifice. Let me actually give you the actual link. Here we go. Okay. So there is a Sage says like Greta threw Andrew in the clink. Was Greta involved with that? That'd be really funny. I saw a picture of Greta and he is not looking good. Are grapes presented in Palestine when Jesus was? Are they present in Palestine when Jesus was alive? Why wouldn't they have different plants? Grapes aren't anything new. I mean, they had them even back in the story of like Joshua and Caleb going into the land of Canaan, or the promised land. There were grapes the size of tangerines, from what I remember. So, yeah. And that's crazy. If original grapes were like the size of tangerines and huge, and what we have today are like these little tiny, I'm probably going to take a freaking screenshot of that and say Illuminati confirmed. That's really ridiculous. Okay. I'm showing the size of a grape. Okay. Anyways, Abdullah. Oh, let me go back here to Abel sacrificed a lamb. There is a story or a translation of the story of the the Cain and Abel and bringing of the fruits and the animal. One story is said that when they took these things up on the mountaintop, they set down their basket of fruit. The other one left the animal there, and they left. And when they came back, the animal had ran away. Obviously, I mean, is the animal just going to stand there? You expect it to just stay. And the animal had run away, and that's why they thought that God accepted that sacrifice and not the fruit, because the fruit was still there. It's like, what did you expect God to come down and eat the fruit too? Like, it's just But I definitely resonate more with that story than the story of anything of killing animals, because ultimately, Yah doesn't want animals killed. Or, like, let's just, why would the Garden of Eden be vegan if he wanted us to kill animals? That was his perfect design, his perfect intent. He said, here you go, you have this perfect little bubble, go at it and have fun. And then after we left that perfect bubble, then all of these other things started happening: the animal sacrifice, the animal eating. And I believe that the priesthood was actually overtaken by Satanists very early on. So they changed the Torah. They actually forced people into doing the animal sacrifices. And they, did all of these evil things in the name of God. And now he's getting blamed for it. So. Oh, Abdullah A just said Mama Bear spirit is greater than the little spirit, or I'm not sure. I kind of saw the arrow like you're pointing to them, so I'm hoping that you are not saying that. Yeah, hopefully that was the greater than sign and not the pointing at. Okay, the dark. Oh wait, Kyle, what does this say here? The dark free builders through light free builders, the Tate brothers and you. Why are you saying that the Tate brothers are light? First of all, they are not even men. Okay, let me give you this picture. Let me just show you that Andrew Tate is not a man. And if you want to still say that they're a man after this picture, then Andrew Tate has no. I'm not really sure anything to rhyme with that. I was going to try to make a little poem, but Andrew Tate has no penis. That is what we were saying. Oh my gosh, please don't say that you're going to try to defend Trump too. Trump is an invert as well, and they are playing Trump as this new world order Trump card, like the Manchurian candidate, where they manipulate humans into thinking that Trump is good when Trump is not good at all. Let me show you a picture of Trump with no penis too, so that you can stop thinking that these people are good. I usually say Don Trump's lacking what Michael Obama's packing. Posted by me. Let's see. Okay. I'll give you the link to the post that actually made my family angry at me, because they unfortunately support Trump too, because they don't know any better. Trump is lacking what Michael Obama is packing. Here is a whole list of things that are against Trump, including that Trump was foreshadowed as president on The Simpsons and the Lego Movie. David says, Illuminati or innocent grape sizer. Your enemies are going to assume worse. Innocent grape sizer. That's funny. God's prophets have repeatedly come to earth all day. All day, he does not want the innocent to be sacrificed. Exactly. He never wanted us to kill and eat his creation. What creator would want this? And I love how the Essene Christ has, like, he keeps talking about how the animals are like our brothers and sisters in God's household. Like, they weren't made for our pleasure, they were made for him, for God. And it's not, who are we to, go in and dictate their lives and end their lives prematurely when there are brothers and sisters in God's household. I really love that. Andrew Tate is controlled opposition, inverted gatekeeper trying to lead men against women. Yes, exactly. Abdul says they're more than 6 feet tall. How can they be women? Well, first, they aren't humans, they're hybrids. So, like the Jinn, the Nephilim that hybridize with humans, made giants, and these are their offspring. So they not only have giant DNA, but they also take testosterone and steroids. Like, these things start when they're born. So, like, if you have a baby girl, you bring her home dressed as a baby boy, and from very early on, she is, taking whatever hormones you see fit as their parent to help them pass in life. And um, oh, Kyle, yeah, I was actually trying to load it in the background. Kyle says the PDF is The Grape Cure, compiled by Campbell Gold. The grape cure is possibly the best known fruit mono diet and consists of 2.75 kilograms of grapes being eaten per day for up to 2 weeks to detox the body. If I could find organic grapes, I would be very tempted to challenge you, Kyle, because I really love grapes. I wonder if I could go somewhere a little bit south in California. They have, obviously in California, but a little bit south down I-5, they have a bunch of different, farms and stuff that have farmers markets that I might be able to actually go down there this summer and pick some good stuff. But the last time that I was driving down there, there was like fields with flooded, the water had flooded in them. So I'm not sure when the growing season is, but the weather around here has been really messed up. But this is even further south. So the places that potentially, they have sunshine and nice weather all year round are having flooding. So there are so many different attacks that are trying to disrupt the food chain. So hopefully you guys are preparing for famine. Donald Trump's a false light. Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page. David says all the heroes we are given are Satan's inverts controlling humanity. Exactly. Okay, and let me just check out. Yum yum yum. This is making me want grapes. Okay, I'll have to check that out after we get off the stream because I definitely want to read that. Thank you. David says they have a non-human blood, O null negative, not matching the rest of God's creation. The inverts maintain control as long as they pass. Once humans gain eyes to see, control passes to humanity. Yep. And that's one of the reasons why they are desperate right now. I don't know how many transvestigation groups you are in, but you will constantly see them attacking me. And it's just like, any logical thinking person has to be like, why are all of these groups, they even have groups that are set up against me. It's like, why are all of these clowns going out of their way to attack one single person? If you're not wondering why by now, then you might be a little bit late to the game. Abdullah says, but the Tates go after the degenerate woman. Isn't that really kind of funny? Because the Tates are degenerate women. So, yeah, I mean, I don't actually know what their specific message is because I don't want to listen to it. Like, I don't want to, especially if from what I have heard from others, they are promoting anti-female stuff. I don't need that. Like, I don't need any more going into my ear to like try to turn me against it. Like, I don't want to. I want to embrace God's creation as it is and have men and women together in a bonding relationship. Like, I don't want to allow demons to sit and whisper man-hating things in my ear all day because it's not going to have a good outcome, and that's what would happen if I listened to these people that are saying these things. The Tates donated to an orphanage, though. Okay, well, sorry to have to bring these questions up, but I'm extremely... What happens at these orphanages? I don't even want to even vocalize these things, but if an invert is running an orphanage, they can potentially let other inverts come in and do whatever they want to these children. Like, I am completely against this whole concept. Like, Mother Teresa has an orphanage, and there's even exposition video exposing, I don't know if that's even right, it's exposing how much abuse goes on. And then you find out that Mother Teresa was a dude. It's like, this dude in a dress is being around children. Like, yeah, so I am sorry, but I can't really um be like, yeah, they donate to an orphanage. It's like, let me just make sure that the orphanage is actually not abusing children before we get excited about donating to them, which is a funny story. I was in this store in San Diego, and I was checking out, and these people, the girl, there's 3 girls, and they were basically like, do you want to donate to these like Ethiopian children's like schooling or something? And for me, I don't support schooling at all. But I basically was like hesitant about it. And I'm like, well, what are they teaching? Are they going to teach these? Am I going to give you money to have you turn around and teach poor little children that they are evolved slime on a giant spinning ball, and that they, like all of these, they disguise this. Oh, do you want to donate to schooling? It's like, no, I don't. They're better off not knowing how to read if the thing that you're going to give them to read is that they live on a giant spinning ball, that they're evolved meaningless slime, and that they should use anal sex as safe sex. It's like, they're going in under the guise of religion, or not. I keep them under religion. I'm looking at religious books in front of me, so that doesn't really help. Under these good, just like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, going in under the guise of helping medically, right? And allegedly giving all these people vaccines that hurt them, I really hope I don't get in trouble for saying that word. It's really irritating. I don't want to censor myself and not speak the truth, but I can't have my channel taken down because of like medical misinformation. What were we even talking about here? Yeah. So under the guise of, they make you try to think it's a good thing to go teach these children how to read, but what are they teaching them how to read? And the girls really did not like my response to their question, so it's like, I'm definitely not welcome back in that store again. But yeah, that was really funny. I can't have a clean conscience if I give you money to go do something evil with. Like, I just can't. Okay. David says better to block the demons. Yes. Satan works. Every system is corrupted. Exactly. Abdul says, yeah, low frequency / low vibrational stuff is spread by the Tates. I'm not really surprised. But to say that Mother Teresa is better than most feminists, I do not know about that because, well, I guess there's 2 different things, because the feminist movement itself, all of the biggest names are actually dudes in dresses, just like Mother Teresa, or Father Terry, we should call him. He's not even a father. Father of who? Like, who would even have sex with you, freak? But yeah, anyways, the top layer feminists I'm not talking about, but as far as the real human feminists, they are definitely not as bad as Mother Teresa. Well, I guess, I don't know, because you have to compare a man sodomizing children with women aborting their children. I mean, that's a really hard judgment. So there's definitely tons of evil going on both sides. So I'm not sure about that judgment about Mother Teresa being better than most feminists, but I'm not sure that most feminists have had abortions either. So it's kind of like, I want to judge righteously about things, and I'm not sure about that one. Abdullah says the Westerners went about spreading LGBT propaganda in Islamic Afghanistan. Okay. Yeah, I know that the whole world has been poisoned with Hollywood's nonsense. And unfortunately, guys, I've seen so many posts that basically say things aren't getting worse, you're just waking up. It's like, actually, things are getting worse. Like I was talking about before, there is an end goal, their new world order, their heaven on earth, where they get to run loose whatever freaks they are, the pedophiles are accepted, and all this stuff. And they are moving towards that. They've been slowly moving towards that. And now, when we do start to awaken, now they are trying to lay it on even thicker. Like, it's a desperation mode to try to retain control, to try to keep us asleep, and all of that. So it's like things actually are getting worse. So saying that is not actually true. And the depopulation event that we are going through isn't over yet. So we definitely need to be cautious of that. David says they typically take them out of tribal education that is real for fake education. Exactly. And that tribal education is going to be, their tribe that actually loves them, that is invested in their fellow tribe members, actually invested. I mean, even just that alone, rather than these unnatural standardization, and where everyone gets the same cookie cutter education, which is just really unrealistic. No one soul. Like, we all didn't come in here for the same reason. In one sense, we all came here to either make it better or worse, right? Like, fight for the light or fight for the dark. But like, your soul came here to do things that mine didn't. Mine came here to do things that yours didn't. You have your own strengths and weaknesses. I have my own. So like, we're not all the same, and we shouldn't all be treated the same. Education shouldn't be a cookie cutter type thing, and life shouldn't be a cookie cutter thing in general. Obviously, inverts are gonna use that to try to defend their lifestyles. Be like, oh, you're trying to cookie cutter us all and put us all into male or female bodies. It's like, yeah, am I the one that's trying to do that? Or did God do that based on the fact that souls are male or female? And he understands the fact that your male soul is going to be very confused if it goes into a female soul or into a female body. It's going to be having gender dysphoria. So he does not allow your male soul to go into that female soul. For you to be upset with him, you can throw a temper tantrum all you want, sweetheart. I'll pat you on the head and just say, no, honey, you're not having cookies before dessert. Obviously, that was like a bad comparison, because cookies before, or I meant to say cookies before dinner, but obviously God's not saying you can't be an invert now, you can later, but it's just the same type of mentality of a good parent and wanting what's best for those that you're claiming to love, which comes back to real versus fake love. Like, real love wants what's best for you and tells you when there's something, like, if you're doing something wrong, it's like, hey, what you're doing is destructive behavior. I love you. I am not going to support it. So if that's what you choose to do and you don't want to get help from it, then I might not be able to stop you, but I'm definitely not going to be supporting it, and I will let you know, because I love you. And I think also, when it comes to raising your kid, having a good relationship with them to where they actually know that you love them, it's a lot different than the parents that are painted in the religious circles that basically reject their children because of these confusions. I'm, again, not promoting that type of thing. It's also got to be hard to be a parent when you send your child away for like the majority of the day and your time with them is limited. I mean, even as a baby, how many people stay home with their children? Like, I plan to homeschool. My babies are not being, like, even when it comes to friends and family, like, I will be keeping my eye on my children, because my family is not vegan, and I'm not having my children like, oh, let me just sneak you something non-vegan while mom's not looking. Like, I'm not having that happen. So I certainly am not going to be having them go to a daycare or anything. So my child's going to have all this bonding time with me to connect and to know how much I truly love them and to really have that bond. But how many other children get that? It's like from the moment that a woman has a baby, it's like tick tick tick, get back, tick tock, time to get back to work, you got to go. Like there's no encouragement of the mother and child bond, which is something I am extremely focused on. Let me just see what's going on here. Bill Gates got sued in India for crippling 50,000 kids. Yeah, that was what I was referring to. And they go in right under. How many people, like, I actually don't even know what the situation was, but a hypothetical situation would be like, oh, let's raise money for all of these kids to go get them vaccine. And then they get all of these like humans to donate money for this great medical cause to save the lives of children. And then they go and give them things that literally kill them. It's like under the guise of these good things. And it's just like the fake love that all these agendas are promoting. It's like they are pretending to be good and about love and about, being who you are and love. And that's just not what it is. It's just a fake and manipulative. Feminism is Satan's inverted control agenda to create a war between the sexes. Abdullah says so the patriarchy carried out feminism. Yeah, it's funny that the head feminists are actually men, and they're like, yeah, we love to bleed, and I'm like, no, we don't. You've never, like, the only bleeding that you did, mister, was anything that came from the surgeries that you botched your body with. Like, you've never actually bled in your life, so just be quiet, all right? They've actually deceived so many women into, embracing menstruate. I'm not saying that we should shun menstruate. I mean, it happens. It's a thing. It's a dis-ease. But we definitely shouldn't be like, hugging each other over it and normalizing it and acting like it is healthy when it's not. So yeah, the patriarchy carried out the feminism, yeah, to an extent. So David says patriarchy versus feminism, pick a side in Satan's war. Yeah. Everyone share your thoughts about Selena Bond. I am not sure who that is. Millions of jabbed are suddenly being unalived. I gotta watch what I actually say on the video so I don't get in trouble. But yeah, everybody that's reading, check out the quote that David D just did there. There's a key phrase that people are posting things under where perfectly healthy people are suddenly not perfectly healthy. And I actually believe that the stuff in the media is being portrayed of these famous people is that they're actors. I am not convinced that they actually took the jab and are experiencing fatal. I don't want to say anything that gets me in trouble. I don't believe that they took the jab. I think that they are faking it, and the media is giving us fake stories instead of giving us real stories. So they acknowledge that it's happening, and then by having soccer players just fall over and all this stuff, like, for one thing, that desensitizes people to it as well. It normalizes the behavior, but it also is a deception when it's an actor on TV falling over. They could have used a real person, but they don't. I have seen so many news things since I've been awake, and I really haven't found a real human yet. Especially the mainstream media, it's all inverts. When you get into your local town, they'll feature the high school sports and other things that actually are real humans. But the higher up you get into mainstream media, it's not real humans at all. Even if the underlying story might be true, they have used inverts as actors to portray the story. It ultimately helps to keep control of the narrative as well. Humans, we all do have a connection to Satan. but it is not the same as the invert connection to Satan, because it's like the devil on one side and the angel on the other. It's like if you keep listening to this one and you keep feeding that dark wolf, you keep going off and farther away from the light side, then the control is stronger. And when you actually invert yourself, that's when when Patrick decides to become Patricia demon comes right in and actually starts to take control. And the Patricia demon actually can make the human Patrick feel all sorts of different things, including excitement that Patricia gets to be free and take over Patrick's body, right? So Patrick, the confused human, is feeling all of these, oh yay, I'm free type emotions, but it's really the demon who is feeling that way, and the connection that they have, the demon is letting Patrick feel that way, and it adds to the confusion. I just posted on my page, I got so many books around here, okay. It's actually this one, about, I thought it was this one. Could just actually read it from the post. But what would the fun be in that? For the exhalation of blood in the libation of wine satisfies even these unclean spirits which lurk within you. So they're saying that the actions, in this case, they're talking about the exhalation of blood in the libation of wine. It satisfies the unclean spirits which lurk within you and cause you to take pleasure in the things that are transacted there. So other texts say they integrate themselves with us. So it's like they are very crafty and they don't let you know that it's them and not you. So it's like your soul has its own desires, and the demon is coming in and confusing it by whispering their desires in your ear. And when you don't realize that there are external forces, then you're not able to actually stand up against them and say, no, like I don't want to participate in that. I don't want to do that. So yeah, the demons can get pleasure. Like one of the things these people in the From Religion to Love group are talking about, sodomy and the pleasure that men can get from it. And I was trying to explain to them like this. It says the demons can literally give you pleasure from doing these things, especially if it is corrupting to your soul and it makes the demons laugh. People literally get a high from like drinking pee and blood and like things that make the demons laugh. So you have to understand that just because someone might get pleasure from something doesn't mean that it is right. I mean, people can get pleasure from raping someone. It does not mean that it is right. So the whole concept of God put the male prostate gland in his bum, it's like, no, the reason that they are getting this pleasure is because demons are there getting the pleasure from them. They are laughing and trying to encourage the behavior so that you'll keep doing it again and again. They get to laugh at you as you corrupt yourself and you disgrace your creator. Do you want to be an embarrassment to your creator? I don't know about you, but I don't. Like, it doesn't matter if you get pleasure from it. That's not what the baseline of what is good and bad is. Okay. David G says inversion and homosexuality go against God's will, and humans must separate from these demons if they wish to go to heaven, which is, why inverts can't get into heaven, is because they won't cut themselves off from these demons. They want to go into heaven as inverts. And like I said, like, can you imagine God's throne, a holy God, being surrounded by dudes in dresses? Really? That sounds literally like hell. If that's what heaven's about, I don't even want to go there. Like, no, thank you. I don't even know that God would want to be there if God was there. All right. T3H owner says, you married with children. I am divorced with no children. It is not a safe time for children. And I am divorced for multiple reasons, including religious differences. I went vegan when he didn't. Now he's vegan. But there are just a lot of fundamental differences that ultimately I can't raise a child with someone that I don't believe the same things as. So at this point, I am really not looking to date or to get married or any of that because I mean, I'm not even fully awake yet. I'm not the best version of myself yet. I still have things about me that I want to fix before I try to get into a relationship because relationships are hard enough as it is, especially without trying to go through awakening. The awakening process has broken up so many relationships. It's not just boyfriend and girlfriend, but actual marriages. I mean, my marriage fell apart because of these things. But like if people are in a relationship and one of them wakes up to flat earth and the other doesn't, it's like things start to spiral out of control, and some people do stick it out and make it happen, especially if they have kids. I was in a relationship when I woke up and he basically said that the shape of the world didn't matter. That doesn't matter, but professional sports did, and I just can't jive. Like I can't do that. David D says period pride, yeah. Abdul says Gloria Steinem, the original feminist CIA asset, said terrible things about housewives. Interesting. I have not heard any of that. Any of the allegate or the let's see. Sage says the word bisexual means there are two genders. Exactly. David says higher up, it's all inverts, even locally. They control everything. Once you have eyes to see, you see them everywhere. And actually, the first thing that I do is transvestigate. Like, I don't trust any teachers or pretty much anyone until I have investigated them because I have been deceived by too many inverts to not. Like, it doesn't matter how much truth someone is speaking. If they are an invert, I'm probably running the other way. David D says Patrick becomes the Patricia and demons take over. Story of our reality. Absolutely. And embarrassment to God. Yep. The owner says you're a wise woman. Thank you. Stay solid. I appreciate that. Bomb Clack Fish, how's it going? Hey, just joining. What book were you holding up? This is called The Clementine Homilies. And I also held up the Gospel of the Holy 12, which is probably not the one that you're asking about because I've held that one up before. Nate D says, who is God? Well, it's an interesting question because there are the Gnostics as well as first, I should preface this by saying that not all Gnostics believe the same thing. But in this case, we do agree that humans are, like the souls inside of us, are actually gods and goddesses. We are divine beings in physical reality. This world is something that we do to, have we're eternal beings in the cosmic ocean, and we choose to come in here to have our minds wiped to experience, being a baby and growing up and, falling in love and all this stuff. But ultimately, we are these divine entities inside of these bodies. But there's only one creator, and that is Yah. Well, that's what I call him. Truth is God. That's it. I don't think that truth is God. Yeah, I don't agree with that, but peace to you as well. Hey, Steven, how's it going? Lost my partner and my kids over this divide. Wow, I'm really sorry to hear about that. Abdul A says, isn't divorce against Christ? Do you think that Christ would rather you stay in an abusive or unhappy relationship or not? And even further, I don't even believe that Christ would be okay with you signing government papers. Like, you're signing a government contract. You are submitting to satanic authority. And the Christ that I follow was a rebel who scared the crap out of the Roman, the Romans who were taking over, he had a huge rebel faction, and that's why they killed him, because he was a threat to their system and not saying, submit to authority, like Paul the deceiver says. Okay. David says, to raise a child, you need to be on the same page. I agree. Agree completely. Abdullah says, can drag queen story hours be pro-Christ? Seeing how, well, I don't even want to call them queen, because queen means female, and these things are not female. They do not deserve royal titles. They are literally dragging the word queen through the mud and making it worthless. So I don't call them that. I call them drag monsters or drag-ons. But no, they can't be pro-Christ because they are literally degenerate. Why are these men in dresses going around children? There is no need for it. Why? Why are they doing this? It's because they're grooming these children. Is a man in a dress grooming a child ever pro-Christ? Evil. Someone's doing a Bible story hour to kids in a library to counter the LGTB. Wow. That's evil. But yeah, I actually just saw a quote from a pastor, well, someone who defends inverts from Religion to Love group. They posted a little meme that says, when people in drag can capture all your hateful attention, interest, energy, time, and effort, you know Jesus has yet to capture your love. Gosh, I can just hear the demonic pastor as they say that. Like, first of all, the pastor is an invert themselves. And second of all, the majority of us don't actually hate these clowns. We pity them. I don't understand the whole, it's just like if you say, oh, Trump is Bernadette by Rothschilds, and then they go, you hate him. It's like, why are we jumping to hate? Like, you can say something against someone without it being hateful. It's like, it's a manipulation tactic to like, oh, someone hurt your feelings. You hate me. And like, it's totally bizarre. I don't hate you. I pity you. Like, you're not worthy of my hate. You are a broken clown. Like, obviously, there are inverts that I dislike, but there are inverts that I am so bound to from my childhood. Like, we all grew up with our favorite musicians, our favorite actors and actresses, and all this stuff. It's like, I have inverts that I have unfortunately been bound to because of these situations. That's all that we're ever given to listen to look at, to watch on TV. It's always all them. So it's like, unless you are like in an Amish situation where you're not exposed to any media at all, you're going to be exposed to inverts. Even in the Christian circle, the Christian music, it is all inverts as well. If you think that Satan does not control the Christian music industry, you nicely need to lay off the fluoride. Okay. David, he says truth can destroy relationships. I got divorced over flat earth and belief in masculine and feminine defined. Wow. I am sorry to hear that. David says real Christ was a rebel leader just like you. Thank you. A real queen is a real female. They are not queens. You are. Thank you. I appreciate that. Stephen says exactly happening in England and London. Wow. Abdullah says, share your thoughts against. I'm not even sure if you're allowed to use the G word on the thing. I'm like constantly trying to walk on pins and needles to not say something that'll get me banned. But homosexuality and groomers. There is a lot of overlap. Even Henry Hay, the founder of the modern gay pride movement, was very adamant that NAMBLA would be a part of it, North American Man Boy Love Association. So these things, like there is a really intrinsic link with these things. And the fact that these kids are going to school and being taught that, anal sex is safe sex at a young, they're being groomed. And there's just no divorcing the two, because it's clear that there's grooming happening all over the place. So it's hard to draw a line of one against the other in this situation, because the line's been so blurred. Bob McClack Catfish says they're more drag offs than drag ons, not queens at all. That's hilarious. But I actually usually write it like drag on, so it looks like dragon, like they're with the dragon, but it also says drag on. So yeah, but that's really funny. Everyone, share your thoughts about the Keller G plan. I have no idea what that is. David says, what they want to claim hate speech, but it doesn't apply if you pity them. Exactly. Oh gosh. Okay, so I looked up this Gloria Steinem person. It looks like a dude, for real. Okay. A genocide conspiracy theory, the Keller G plan, alleges which claim. I just want to get a little description really quick.
In the front, because you can see them from the back.
Australian Japanese politician Richard someone concocted a plot to mix white Europeans with other races via immigration. Interesting. The conspiracy theory is most often associated with European groups and parties, but is also spread to them. That is an interesting. I do think that there are agendas to basically cause different immigration issues, to cause chaos. Like if you have a bunch of people leaving this land, especially in an emergency situation, and then bombarding another land, it causes all sorts of issues. And yeah, there's definitely an agenda against races in general. And essentially, we all need to acknowledge that race is part of God's design. And embrace the race. Like we're all created in different manners and different strengths and weaknesses, and all of us together as a human species, we have different unique characters. We shouldn't all be looking the same or having the same color or any of the, it's just, we're not all the same, so race is something that's built in, and it should be embraced, not something that we use to divide each other on. They definitely wanted to push agendas where they not only separate men and women, but also separate us between races. It's like, I could not care less what color skin you are in. What I care about is the content of your heart. Like, do you eat animals? That's the first thing that I care about. Is like, well, first thing I care about is if you're an invert or not. And the second thing I care about is if you're an animal eater or not. So, anyways. The under says, don't be gullible. Psychology is necessary. It's the most highest plan. I definitely don't believe in modern psychology, but I do, psychology class was actually my favorite when I did go to college. I like the study of humans and why we do what we do and all this other stuff. But I think that modern psychology, like every other industry, is corrupted. And yeah, I definitely don't agree with any of the kill the ego mentalities. My version of the ego is what the etymology says, that the self, that which thinks, acts, and feels. And I don't believe that we should be killing any of that. I think we should be proud of who we are and not be acting like clowns. So I think that killing the ego and acting like clowns kind of go hand in hand a lot of times. So, David says, going free from fluoride opens your pineal gland and allows you to connect to your true soul. Yes. It's unfortunate they try to get it into everything, into processed foods, even growing our fruits with the fluoride water. So it's like pretty much impossible almost to get away from it. Atul says a British Muslim kid was called brave when he said he had two moms. Turns out his dad was married to 2 women. Oh my gosh. Whoa. David says homosexuality comes from abuse. There's no getting away from it. I agree completely, and so does Stephen. Abdullah says pretty much all the early feminist leaders were those that say they are Jews but lie. The inverts, yes. David says they are fake. They don't really worship Yah, they hate him. Yes, they are inverts. Abdullah says it's also called the Great White Replacement Theory. Okay. Native American tribes hunted a lot. Yeah, I understand that they hunted a lot. That does not make them right. And yeah, I mean, there are cultures of people that even owned human slaves. So, like, hunting humans isn't okay, enslaving humans isn't okay. Well, I should actually pump on the brakes, because once I said hunting humans isn't okay, then I'd be like, well, if they're a pedophile, then I disagree with my own statement. If they are doing extreme evil, I disagree with that statement. I am not fundamentally against hunting bad people. Bomb Clock Godfish says, I gotta run, but it's always nice hearing your streams and honor blessings. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully you will be back next week. The owner says, this is a man's world. Nothing you can do about it. Oh, really? Is that why Mother Earth is female? David says, hunting down and killing unrepentant. I gotta be careful what I say. I can't, like, inflame, or I don't even know, like, they'll be like, pedo pride, you can't incite people to violence against pedos. Like, oh, really? Like, why don't you guys stop worrying about me and actually go and take care of the pedos? Oh, that's right, because you are pedos. I don't expect pedos to take out pedos, which is what people are thinking is happening with Trump. That inverts and child abusers are actually taking each other out. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, Abdullah says, if I'm not wrong, some Aztecs performed cannibalism. I know that there are many different groups that have messed with different forms of that. They actually say that human DNA has been found in McDonald's burgers. So many of us have eaten baby flesh, and how many people loved it. I mean, I was really addicted to McDonald's burgers, and it makes me want to vomit to think that I could have been eating human babies. Like, and that, like, even knowing what McDonald's burgers are made out of and all of the it's just disgusting what pink slime and filler products and ooh. But as far as cannibalism goes, one of the black magic principles is like eating, the concept in the Bible of eating the flesh and the blood of the king. When you eat something, when you consume it, you take on part of its life force energy, part of its essence, right? So if you were to eat the king yourself, like, you are taking on the essence of the king, and you become what you eat, right? Eating that power. It's the same as like eating anything else. Like, you become what you eat. So I mean, if you're eating pig butt all the time, what do you think you're going to become? Just saying. Steven says, a hunter-gatherer versus settled farming. I definitely don't agree also with our farming practices of today, because I don't really agree with monocrop culture. Permaculture is the way to go. So, but yeah, it's definitely better to have the farms than to be going out and killing babies. Abdullah says, why has no native culture been vegan? Well, I mean, how many cultures since now have been vegan anyways, and these people are just doing what they're taught. Like, when no one comes along and says, hey, why are we killing babies, then the behavior just repeats itself. So I mean, I'm not really sure where the change would have happened. They just keep repeating the behavior that they've always done. It's what most people are doing. David says original Essenes were basically vegan. Yes, they do not believe in consuming the flesh of slain beasts. Abdullah says Donald Trump exposed Pizzagate. Did she? Did she? It's just ironic because Donald Trump's own child, Don has said sexual things about their own child, and people think that this incestuous pedophile is actually saving children. It's ridiculous. The owner says amateur truthers. Who are you talking about, buddy? Stephen Lashbrook says that was a clear divide from way back. We got shorter stick. Yes. Monsanto has aborted fetus cells in their product, and the reason that they Sorry, I just read the owner trying to say that I'm delusional. That's hilarious projection. One instance, calming veganism. What's calming veganism? Are you going to say that you eat animal? You eat babies and you want to call me delusional? Please say that is the case right now because I will laugh really hard. The next, wanting to eat the king. Do you not understand the whole religion is literally based off of eating the flesh and drinking the blood of the king? So just because you might not know what the truth of our reality is, you might not know which way is up, doesn't mean any of us are the delusional ones, sweetheart. Okay. Anyways, back to Monsanto. They don't let people reuse their seeds year after year because the seeds actually try to revert back to normal. You need a tongue? You need a timeout, sweetheart. Let's do it. Bye. Okay. The seeds that Monsanto tries to modify, the genetic modifications actually get spat out as the DNA tries to heal itself. Your DNA, like I was saying earlier, is self-healing. If you get a cut, like you can't even see it. If you get a cut, your body immediately let's go fix it and heal it. Like it wants to stop the bleeding. That's the same thing. It's like these same mechanisms are in the seeds, and they are trying to heal from the modifications. So Monsanto doesn't allow people to replant seeds every year, and that's why. It's an evidence against evolution. Exposed Antarctica says Donald Trump is a woman. Yes, I posted a link disclosure. Let me just grab the link again. These people were looking at me really funny the whole time. They did not really like the things that I've been saying. Trump is female. Okay. All presidents actually have been female, and all first ladies are male. So there's been no change in that. And that alone should make people understand that Trump wasn't a wild card because it's an invert like every other president has been. So, instead of eating and farming animals, we got the short end of the stick. Yeah. Came across an interesting theory that not all African Americans were brought over in ships. I'm not sure what you what do you mean? How else were they brought? What do you mean that they came? What do you mean? What's the theory? Steven says rather than hunt and gather as in the land, not its inhabitants, right? Well, I actually would rather not have to gather much. I kind of like having farming, but just not the way that it is. I don't want to have to go out and gather things. But then again, I guess that was always the woman would stay home and the guy would go and get it, supposedly. So I don't know. David says that she doesn't want to eat the king. She wants to stop Satanists eating the king. Exactly. I don't want to eat the king. I want to protect the king. Abdullah says the songs such as Bloody Mary by Lady Gaga and Mary on a Cross by Ghost make me uncomfortable with their blasphemous themes. Absolutely. I'm actually going to wrap it up, but now that everyone's not here, I did want to not stand on this and show off my female flaring hips so that you guys can see, because there are people that are making up lies about me, and like, I'm the only one that has ever shown you their hips like this. I don't understand. Well, I do understand full well. I understand all of the confusing agendas, because like that post I showed you, they literally show you my hips and then they try to convince you that you're crazy if you acknowledge that there's hips there. So I just wanted to leave you with that. And yeah, anyone share your thoughts about Mansa Musa? I am not sure who that is, but I'll check that out. Anyways, guys, it was really great to hang out with you, and I hope that you will join me next week and hit me up on Facebook. Thank you again, Kyle, for these pictures. That was really an awesome surprise. So, all right. Yes, the creepy. Everybody left. I'm here by myself now. There was some LGBT members for sure. You can kind of sometimes tell just by their looks. Then there's like some couples that were sitting right here. They were just all looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm spouting the most craziest stuff that they've heard in their life. Another thing which makes me uncomfortable about eating Christ's flesh and blood, exactly. It's cannibalism, it's vampirism, and they've gotten people to accept it. So, all right, guys, I am headed off, and I hope to catch you next week. May God and the guys bless you.